In this video, I will be going over some problems from Spiral Review number 4. Basically, the problems that I think may give some students some trouble. We're going to start with this one, which is a little bit of algebra. So here we have an expression, and it tells us if h equals 3. So in this case, we have to use the substitution method. So that means I'm going to rewrite this expression exactly the same way. The only thing that's going to change is the variable, the h is going to come out, and the 3 is going to go in, because that's what substitute means. So for parentheses, remember we use parentheses when we substitute, the exponent, and then the plus, and then the 24. Once I rewrite this, it's good practice to write out the PEMDAS notation, the acronym, because this tells us what we're doing. So follow the order of operations. So the first letter P parentheses, while there is parentheses around the 3, usually parentheses means like do anything that's inside of parentheses if there is anything inside parentheses. So in this set of parentheses, there's just a 3. So there's really nothing for us to do inside of the parentheses. This is just a plain number. So we're done with P. Next, we go to E, which is an exponent. Exponent. So that means we're going to focus on this piece right here. Just the exponent. 3 squared. 3 to the second power. So what does this mean? This means that they want me to multiply 3 times itself 2 times. So 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. And now I can rewrite this expression. So I'm going to go back to my black ink. So the 4 I have not touched. So that stays there. The 3 squared, I'm now going to change and put a 9. And then I have not used the plus 24. Next, so I'm done with exponents. There's no more exponents. So I have to check to see, is there any multiplication or division? There is multiplication. When there's two numbers next to each other in parentheses like this means multiply. So that says 4 times 9. 4 times 9 is 36. Again, we want to bring down anything we did not use. So in this case, the plus 24. And there's no more multiplication or division. So the last step is to add or subtract. And in this case, this is the only thing left. What's 36 plus 24? 4 plus 6 is 10. 2 plus 3 is 5. Plus 1 is 6, so 60. And that's my final answer. Remember, we circle our final answer. And we have finished the substitution of h equals 3 here. So this problem is done. A big mistake that I see here sometimes, I'll just take a second to point it out. Some students multiply, so they'll do 4 times 3 before using the exponent. Make sure you follow the order of operations. That is why it exists. It says exponent comes first, not multiplication. So please just follow the order of operations. All right, there's another multiplication of decimals on this spiral. I really want to emphasize that as long as you can estimate your answer, you're solid. So remember, estimate means we want to round these two numbers to their nearest whole number. So 3.41, that's between 3 and 4, but it's closer to 3. 2.2, that's between 2 and 3, but it's closer to 2. This looks kind of sloppy, so I'm going to fix it. And what's 3 times 2? That is 6. So this is my estimate. This is my estimate. Once you estimate, we can multiply these numbers without the decimal. So notice I wrote 341, not 3.41. I wrote 22, not 2.2. Then multiply it by hand. So we're going to focus on this number. We're going to multiply this whole thing by the first digit. I'm going to trace this symbol. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 4, 8. 2 times 3, 6. Then I go to the next digit, which is another 2. But for this 2, once I go to the 2, technically that is not a 2. Technically that is 20 because it's in the tens place. So to represent that, I'm going to put a 0. Then multiply this out. 2 times 1, 2. 2 times 4, 8. 2 times 3, 6. Again, if you notice, I got the same digits. 628, 628. But the reason this has a 0 is because this is technically a 20. And then we add them out, add up the two numbers we got. 2 plus 0, 2. 8 plus 2, 10. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 8 is 15. And 1 plus 6 is 7. So my answer is this digit. But it is not 7,502. That it would be a no. That is not a good answer. The last step is using our estimate, we have to put a decimal in this number. So again, this number should be close to 6. So is it going to be 7.502? Is it going to be 75.02? Is it going to be 750.2 or 7,502? Well, the closest I can get to 6 is by putting the decimal here. 7.5. That's super close to 6, or at least the closest we can make it. So this is our answer. Again, realistically, I care more about this piece. Can you estimate, and then can you use that to get an answer? This piece, I'm going to be honest, if I was at the store and I needed to do some math or in real life, I would not multiply this by hand. I would, like most of you guys would, take out my phone, type this times, type this. But this is the strategy I want you to focus on. Please remember to estimate. It is very important. This problem, so in this problem, you'll have division of mixed numbers. When we went over this, I told you guys mixed numbers are completely useless. You cannot divide these. You cannot do anything with these. Even if it was just an addition problem, you wouldn't be able to do it. Mixed numbers are completely useless. So you would start this problem by converting the mixed numbers to improper fractions. 2 and 4/9, what does that mean? That means I have 2 whole units. So a whole is 9 over 9. 9 over 9. Each one of these is a whole unit. one whole, two whole. And then I can't forget to add the leftover. When you add those up, 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 plus 4 is 22. You do not add the denominators. And then you have, so this was the original problem. But we're going to rewrite it as this. And then there's another fraction that goes there, whatever you get for that. And then here, don't forget you have to multiply by the reciprocal. Once you write it with improper fractions, we don't actually divide fractions. Remember, that is not something we can do in math. We multiply by the reciprocal. You should know what that means. If not, Google it. Pictures will come up on what to do. I'll let you solve the last few steps of this one on your own. This one, some students have been asking me basically what the table's for. The table's just to organize your thoughts here. Shamar reads 120 pages in 5 days. So right away, in my head, I'm just like, oh, well, that means pages and then days. 120. 5. How many pages does he read per day? So that means they want us to figure out in 1 day. So I would just fill in the blanks, and then right away, as soon as I see that, I'm like, well, I think I know the pattern. I'm gonna go from 5 to 1. I'm gonna let you decide. Whatever you decide is happening there, when you do on one side, you have to do the other. Use a calculator for that. Fill in the blank. How many pages will he read per day? I will ask you to. I'm not sure if there's space, but if you can write a sentence, it'd be great just to get in the habit of writing reads blank pages per day. I'll let you finish that one on your own. Division of decimals. Division of decimals. So this one, remember, we don't want to divide these numbers like this. We want to move the decimal out of this number. But if I move that decimal once, I have to move this decimal. So that means realistically, I'm doing this. I'm doing 315.6 divided by 12. Because now I can list my multiples of 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, etc. You guys are generally pretty good with long division, so I'm going to stop here. I just wanted to restate that. Move the decimal once. That way this is a plain 12. But if you move this decimal once, you got to move this one once. I'll let you wrap that one up on your own as well. This one is giving some students some difficulty because there's no direct relationship here. So what does that mean? That means there's no way for us to multiply 16 to get 20. There's no way for us to multiply 2 to get 3. 3 is not a multiple of 2. And then this one does work. 16 times 2 is 32. Times 2. So do the same thing up here. Times 2. 4. So a lot of students are able to do that one. But remember, I told you, if there's no direct relationship, like, hey, there's no way for me to go from 16 to 2 to 20. 16 to 20. That means you have to change this ratio to a unit rate. Change this to a unit rate. So in this case, it looks like, all right, 1 or 2 hours means I'm traveling 16 miles. So that happens. So 2 hours, 16 miles. So what happens in 1 hour? Well, that's pretty easy. That's 8 miles. 16 divided by 2. Now I'm gonna squeeze this in here. 1/8. That's the rate. Now this should be super easy. How do you go from 1 to 3? That one's okay. This one is still a little hard. How do you go from 8 to 20? This one might come from the graph. And the reason it's hard is because this is actually going to be a decimal. So I'll kind of give this one to you. To go from 8 to 20, you're going to multiply by 2.5. Multiply by 2.5, which in this case is 2.5. And for that, you are going to get 5. Once you figure out the missing value here, go ahead and graph the points, connect them with a line. Every other problem on the Spiral Review you should be pretty solid with. If you need anything, use Google, your notebook, whatever you have. All right, don't forget that Spiral Review is due tomorrow. Tomorrow. We will be in school tomorrow, so I will collect it tomorrow. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully all this helped.